Well, hello and good evening, everyone. If you are a fan of all things of Thursday night racing, it's time for the OB Builders Cup Series live from the virtual Iowa Speedway here in America's heartland. They built it, and we will come here just outside of Des Moines, Iowa, in Newton, Iowa. This track here, by far, has been a fan favorite, and of course, a fan favorite when it comes to racing in the ARCA Menard Series, IndyCar, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series before the NASCAR Cup Series made their debut just 1 year ago. Of course, this 0.88 mile of a circuit has been through a little bit of a refresh as the bottom grooves have been paved a little bit. So drivers are going to have to try to negotiate the new track refresh. For those of you who are new to iRacing, this went through as of 2023 or 2025 Season 3 build that just happened recently. But my name is Taylor Burris. Alongside me is Sheldon Atkins, who will join us briefly, and our amazing producer, Mr. Austin Derbyshire. Taking a look at the point standings, and it has been shrunken a little bit since the last time we were racing at the yard of Bricks in Indianapolis. Sean Conklin still holds the points lead by over 61 points over Justin Levine. Brandon Pascalacqua sits in third with Derek Heitman. Patrick Gitter rounds out your top five. Joseph Kazi, Greg Carr, Austin Edstrom, the Rocket Man, with Chris Vinson and Josh Schaffner rounding out your top 10 as we progress further and further into this season of the OB Builders Cup Series. We do have a little bit of talk about here as we talk about the keys to victory and the keys to the race. First thing we have to talk about is that it's about 1.5 groove racing, especially with the new pavement that is added on the bottom of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can maybe go up half a lane once that new pavement ends and the old one begins. That's where you're going to run into problems, and you'll actually get magnetized to where you go right up against that outside wall and have a tough time coming back down. Of course, one of the things we talked about, this is a brand new track refresh. This track has been newly restored as of recently, with iRacing making the much needed adjustments for us to enjoy some great racing and to keep up to date with the world of NASCAR competition. And finally, tire wear. We know that it's going to happen here. These cars are going to have to go through the cheese grater. This track has been known to tear up tires very easily and very quickly. So 6 sets of tires for these drivers here tonight. You got to pick and choose when you want to come down pit road to get you a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles. And let's go ahead and give you your starting lineup for today's racing action. On the pole position with a 22.943 from Blue Point, New York, it is Joseph Goulart in the number 98. Alongside him is your points leader from Campbell Hall, New York, is Sean Conklin. Row number 2 will see Michael Conti joining us here tonight, followed by Tommy Gossett from Smyrna, Tennessee. Moving on to row number 3, we'll see Dylan Banks and Pell City, Alabama, Adam Benefield. Moving on is Daniel Wise with Charlotte, North Carolina. Brandon Pascalacqua sitting in the 8th position. And rounding out your top 10 from Charlotte, North Carolina, Patrick Gitter, and Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. Rounding out your top 10, Randy Mullins.
Place we got Randy Belk with Josh Schaffner starting off in 12th. 13th place is going to be Luke Christian with Chris Crosby just outside in 14th. 15th place we got Russell Black with Alexander Carr in 16th, followed by Chad Kibbe, Chris Hudson, Keegan Sabilo, and Shane Clore rounding out your top 20.
21st position, we will see the driver of Jose Medina, followed by Ralph Hutchinson in 22nd. 23rd, we'll find Miami, Florida's Joseph Kazi, and Brooklyn, New York's Justin Levine. In 25th position is Chicago, Illinois' Matt DeCiani, with Sharpsburg, Georgia, of course, of Brian Johnson. Chris Davis and Ridgewood, Virginia, Paul Gallimore will round out in 28th. Then it's going to be Chris Vinson from Holman, Wisconsin, and Avila, Florida's Greg Carr rounding out your top 30.
Well, you looking forward to this one here, Taylor?
Absolutely. As the rest of the field goes through, it's Richard Kleiman, John Binder, and Joshua Hyatt rounding out one of the largest fields, I have to say, we've had here tonight, Sheldon. 33 cars taking to the track here. And, of course, we have a couple of future eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series competitors and one former champion racing with us here tonight. Michael Conti sitting there in P3 in that number 38 Team Conti Chevrolet.
Tell you what, man, I'm just looking forward to, I've ran a lot of races here this week, seen a lot of them, spectated a few. And the one thing that I've noticed has been prevalent all week, aside from, the tires being pretty much made out of toilet paper here, The tempers and the emotions have been really coming out here. It's definitely a lot of close quarters, beating and banging, short track action. And I think we're going to have probably a couple new feuds and rivalries start for this thing's over this evening.
I have to agree with you, Sheldon. A lot of chaos can happen here. A lot of drivers are going to be beating and banging, trying to stick to that bottom of the racetrack. One area I'm going to keep an eye on is right there off of turn 4 because the car gets so tight off corner exit. You got to be careful of how they'll survive. But here you go, Sheldon. Take them away.
And into the restart zone, flag in hand, and the green flag is down. We are underway here. Big wheel spin on the top row from Sean Conklin. Going to lose a handful of spots here coming into turn 1. Able to keep the car on him, though. That could have been a really costly mistake early to start this thing off. But right now, Cugalata walking away with the lead coming out of turn 2.
It's going to be a side-by-side battle for second place as Sean Conklin tries to power move back away around the outside with Michael Conti on the bottom of the racetrack. Side-by-side as they come off turn number 4, and Conklin will take over the second spot. Meanwhile, further back, we'll see Patrick Gitter, Adam Benefield battling for position with Brandon Pascalacqua as you ride on board with the Forte Motorsports of Gitter, and now Pascalacqua in the Pioneer machine as he heads down the back straightaway. Adam Benefield pressuring him to see if he can set himself up for a pass for position, and behind Schaffner on the outside trying to get around number 3 of Lou Christian.
Benefield a few seconds ago, and I can't think of anybody that's been better here this weekend at maintaining his equipment and saving tires. Watch him creep around here the first 20 or 30 laps of this run, and about halfway through, just absolutely flip a switch and fly through the pack. Right now, Schaffner's still trying to work that outside line and get past Belk. Belk slides up a little bit, loses the nose underneath the 50 machine. But still side-by-side down in turn 1, but Schaffner's got the advantage for now. Now going to try and take an extra pass here.
He's going to make it work here as they work their way through. Meanwhile, back up at the front of the field, we see the 07 of Tommy Gossett in that DuPont color machine trying to get around Michael Conti. And Gossett takes the position away in the Ryco machine as he will clear the Team Conti and Michael Conti. You're right on board with Tommy Gossett as they head down the back straightaway. The two Toyotas under the Victory One Ryco team trying to track down Joseph Gulata in that number 98. And they are making quick head work to make the run up to your race leader. 5 laps complete out of the 230. We got a long way to go here for tonight's action.
Whoever is painting Tommy's cars this year is making a killing. Because it seems like every week he's got a new paint. You see him dive down to the inside here of Sean Conklin into 3. Conklin's going to give it to him, let him have it. Gossett trying to make a charge to the front here. Got to be so careful because these tires, man, they just go so quick.
They certainly do, and I have to say, I'm curious to see how quickly we're going to fall off the lap times. Currently, we're about 0.3 off the faster lap times that a lot of these drivers have set. It just shows you how quickly this is going to happen. Some drivers are already working with others, like giving and taking. Realize we have a lot of racing, but already Tommy Gossett putting the pressure on Joseph Gulata. He'll go around the top side of the racetrack with some big momentum on his side, up a half a lane, and he will try to slingshot around Joseph Gulata. New race leader, Tommy Gossett in the 07.
It's a big charge to the front, but the question is, how long will the Goodyear Eagles last underneath the 07 Ryco machine? We've seen all week long how quick you can go out there and burn those things off. And there's one thing I've noticed from Gulata and Conklin here is neither one of them are trying to put any heat into these tires. You see them pretty much treating it like Rockingham, painting the white stripe on both ends of the track down in the corner, trying to keep those right fronts from being overworked.
And I have a feeling that's what we're going to see from drivers like Joseph Gulata, Conklin, and Michael Conti. They're just going to let's go ahead and let Tommy go ahead. He'll be the rabbit in this case, and let him go ahead and burn up his stuff, and then we'll just slowly reel him back in as like we would a prize fish out in the open sea, and slowly let them tire out because those tires start to wear further and further, and they'll work their way back around to gain those spots back here momentarily. But you're right on board with the driver of Tommy Gossett as he tries to pull away, currently about a second advantage over Gulata, and he's still running some quick lap times, but the problem is, how long will those tires last here in this stage of the race? 11 laps already. He's still running quite a bit as we go on board with the CFM performance machine of Joseph Gulata, as he tries to see if he can hold off and maintain the drivers of Conklin and Conti.
Staying right here. The reason why Tommy has such a big advantage right now over these two, but what's going to end up biting him back on the hand here before this runs over is you see these guys running way low on the track. Now, in order to get the car down there, you've really got to back it down. You got to let the car roll and try not to be too aggressive with your throttle and brake inputs. Whereas Tommy, he's running the fast line. He's running the, kind of the qualifying arc, coming in wide, cutting down late, getting the drive off. But the problem is, he's putting so much extra heat into those tires. And, I mean, we've seen a rash of tire failures here all week as we see Patrick Gitter making a move a little bit further in the back.
Yeah, we're watching as we keep an eye here. There's a 6 of Brandon Pascalacqua, who's trying to get around Luke Christian for the 8th position. Christian goes up a little bit too high right there, but is still able to maintain the position over Pascalacqua as they work their way through. He's going to try to go around the outside of Daniel Wiles right there in the number 13. Can't quite make it work. He'll now cross over to the bottom of the racetrack. See if he can complete the pass right there. So far, they're going to go side by side. Daniel will give position away for the time being. He will now move up to P7.
Randy Belk's trying to make a move a little bit further in the pack here.
Randy Belk now in a good running position here as he's trying to pick up a couple of spots. Currently sits P12, trying to get around Ralph Hutchinson, who we've seen compete a lot in the Wednesday night events that we have on Twitch. Normally haven't seen him compete a whole lot in the OB Builders Cup Series, so great to have him on board with us as they head down the front straightaway. Justin Levine also trying to pick up a couple of spots along with, I believe that it's going to be the 64 of Russell Black, also trying to follow in the tire tracks of Justin Levine as he gets around the driver of Shane Clore for 15.
Justin's been another one that's been pretty good this week, bunch of top 5s, top 10s. Coming off a hot streak last week at Indy, won the OB Builders Cup Series there, holding off Sean Conklin in a heck of a drive on older tires to try and keep him at bay. Makes the move down to the inside here, moves himself up into the 12th position. Mac Tools Camry definitely coming alive here in the later stages of the season as we work our way through the summer.
Could this be the turning point that Justin Levine needed after his win at Indy? We're going to find out as they head down into turn number 1. Still running that middle lane right now, not really arcing it into the bottom of the racetrack like we see the drivers up ahead as we go back up towards the front of the field. And Gulata has picked up about 1/10 of a second on your race leader. He's starting to close back in, but not really making major headway on your race leader at this time as we go a little further back to Luke Christian and company, Adam Benefield, Ralph Hutchinson, and now here comes Randy Bell trying to hold off Russell Black for the 13th spot.
Now, the good news with Tommy is he does have the clean air. He has the advantage over Gulata in second place. The question is, though, is the tire degradation going to be outweighed by the advantage of the clean air? Not really something I've had the opportunity to witness much this week personally because we've had so many cautions, and when we're not having cautions, walk-offs. But Tommy might be in a better spot than we gave him credit for to start this thing out.
Absolutely, I have to agree with you, Sheldon. He is still maintaining a pretty decent gap right now. It's kind of now plateaued. It's now about 7/10, maybe 6/10 of a second right now at the moment, but he's keeping it stationary right there. Not allowing Joseph to make major headway, but also not pulling away like we saw on the early opening couple of laps. A little bit of information regarding the weather out there. It's 83 degrees outside with partly cloudy skies. Track temperature, a blistering 116 degrees. That's going to be cooking those right side tires very quickly.
I blame it all on the corn sweats, brother.
I have to agree with you on that one, Sheldon, as we keep an eye on the action here and keep an eye on the weather as these drivers now are stacked up a little bit behind the 22 of Randy Belk off of turn number 2. Russell Black, Ralph Hutchinson having a good spirited battle. Throw in Shane Clore and Alexander Carr in the mix, and these 4 drivers are going to go at it, and if they keep it up, they're going to bring in Keegan Sabila right there also in the Mac Tools Toyota.
Keegan trying to put together a good run here. Has had a lot of good opportunities this week, but unfortunately, fate has struck a different chord with the 77 machine. Running well earlier today in the NIS, had a monitor issue, a bit of a snap incident last night in NIS, and just trying to get the finish he deserves. Really puts a lot of pride and effort into his short track performances because, that is his bread and butter.
Absolutely, and he's trying to do a good run. He goes way wide though up to the top side of the racetrack here. Got to be careful with that. Don't want to hit the outside wall as he's trying to find an opening to get around Alexander Carr, but I think he might need to be careful with that because this is not like the Iowa of old that we used to have. This is a whole brand new refresh of this track, and it's going to be a little bit different to how to get around this circuit compared to the old times where you could run right up against the wall off turns 3 and 4.
But he's definitely experimenting with lines. I mean, at the end of the day, though, you still got to try and find some kind of way to get air to the splitter on these cars, since we got a battle shaking up right now. We got turn number 4, trying to get the door numbers here.
That's the 64 machine of Russell Black and the 22 of Randy Belk, who are having a good fight for position for P12. Those two are 2 by 2. You also throw in Ralph Hutchinson and Shane Clore, who are also side by side. Keegan Sabila follows in suit, trying to see which way he can go to the bottom of the racetrack to try to pick them off one at a time as he tries to do so. And Hutchinson goes around the outside, see if he can get around Randy Belk for position. Not going to work this time.
So far, a pretty strong run from Randy. You know, he's one of those guys that kind of ends up having a lot of bad luck and misfortune come his way. But sitting here 13th at probably one of the most difficult tracks to maintain your equipment. And 27 laps on the tires, you know, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. You know, because heck, we're used to, you know, long run being 45, 50 laps or so. But here at Iowa, man, once you get past the 15-lap threshold, you've got a handful.
Well, these drivers are definitely showcasing that they do have a handful to deal with because they have fallen off significantly. Last time by, we're looking at over a 1.5 seconds fall off, and then we haven't even hit 30 laps around this track yet. That's how much fall off is happening around this circuit here. So they got to be careful with that and want to conserve those tires as much as possible because it's going to be pretty quickly when that right front tire blows here if they keep pushing the limits of these tires.
Yeah, I had I think it was an 85-lap run or something like that this week, and my right sides were down to 2% and 3%. So
I did a little math here. If you wanted to utilize 6 sets of tires, pretty much, all 6, which I know these drivers are not going to, you have to run, it's a little close for comfort right there between Belk and Clore. You want to run about 39 laps around this circuit, pretty much, to still use all 6 of your tires and still have some fast pace.
My problem with that is, though, if you pit here and you're not in the lead, you do have the option of ending up 2 laps down. So Shane Clore take a slide up to the outside line to try and get past the 22 machine of Belk. Gets a good run through center. He's going to be side by side with him down the back straightaway, giving him the opportunity to put the pedal down into 3. And Shane Clore, for now, moving up to the 13th position. And here comes Keegan Sabilo following.
Absolutely, and right now, Tommy Gossett is going to be approaching the tail end of the lead lap cars here pretty soon as they work their way around the circuit. It will be a matter of time before that happens here, before it catches the tail end with the number 9 machine of Chris Crosby. So, going to be some lap traffic up ahead.
Second.
There we go.
Now for second place, Conti to the outside of Sean Conklin. Conti with the momentum is going to clear the 10 machine of Conklin down the backstretch into turn 3. Tell you what, man, I never thought we'd have the opportunity to call Conti up here for OB, and this is a pretty cool sight.
Michael Conti, a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion, drove for Junior Motorsports in the eNASCAR Series for the multiple seasons. In fact, drove the famed number 8 machine, and of course brought home many victories and championships to that organization in the esports world, and looking to continue on with helping the community with Team Conti set up shop as he works his way around the circuit here and holding off some of the future stars of the eNASCAR Series, and they have caught the back bumper of Tommy Gossett, and it seems like Sean Conklin was that cork in the bottle, because once we see Michael Conti got around, he was already all over the back bumper of Tommy Gossett and has closed that gap to less than 0.2 seconds as these 3 will now battle for the race lead. Joseph Gulata sits in the catbird seat, ready to see what would happen if these 3 get to fighting.
think Conklin was a cork in much, though. I think what Conklin did there was he let Conti get by because he knew that. I mean, we know that passing Tommy's not easy, especially when it comes to a battle for the lead. I think Conklin's playing a little bit smarter here, letting these two go out here and wear each other down because you know if Goss is going to do anything, he's going to try and hold off Conti. I mean, it's just one of those things, right? You see somebody with such a storied career on the sim as Michael Conti, you want to try and hold him off. And Conti going up to the outside of the track here, trying to find the momentum to get past. Not able to get it, though. Door shuts in his face. Tommy Gossett, big wiggle. Tommy Gossett is around on the front straightaway, down into the grass.
We keep it green. He tries to slide it back up, and yeah. Oh, goodness.
No. Tommy had the two options there. He could have either kept it going straight through the grass and not pulled it back up on the track and hit the wall, or slid, unfortunately. I think he was trying to keep it off of the track, but devastating blow for Tommy, wrecking from the lead here. See on board to understand if he was just loose coming out or if he had help that caused the problem.
Well, those tires are cooked, I would have to say.
Yeah, everybody in the field is coming down for 4 right here.
Absolutely.
4-2. Right on board with Tommy here. I think he caught that bump wrong, and as soon as he caught that bump, Conti was already there, and just that little bit of extra help was enough to send him.
And with that, everybody's coming down pit road to get some 4 fresh tires and get themselves set up for another run. How about that? 39 laps, and just about that, 39 laps are going to come down pit road to get their first set of tires.
Pretty solid racing action here to start this thing out.
Ooh, Gulata nearly missed his pit box right there.
No, he did.
And he still missed it. That's going to cost him multiple spots.
That's going to be the end of the line right there. Gulata.
And with that, Sean Conklin will win the race off pit road, followed by Michael Conti, Patrick Gitter, Dylan Banks, Adam Benefield, your top 5, Luke Christian, Justin Levine, Brandon Pascalacqua, Daniel Wiles, and Russell Black, your top 10 for Gulata, all the way from 3rd to 14th.
Say what, Banks, another one you want to keep your eye on here. Iowa, that 48 machine has been fast all week long. For the past handful of weeks, I've seen Dylan up at the top of the board. Feels like everywhere we go in A Open.
Well, with that, the field will pace around behind Fred, the pace car driver, as 40 laps have been completed out of the 230. A couple of big movers and shakers have worked their way up through the field. We touched on the drivers such as Dylan Banks. John Bender moved up inside the top 20. Joseph Kazi sits P15. He's moved up. Keegan Sabila just about to break into the top 10, sits P11 along with Shane Clore. And there you see your new race leader here, Sean Conklin. Will be your 4th different race leader. And there you see Chris Vincent picking up 10 spots since the start of the race. Started in 29th, has now moved inside the top 10 or top 20. 32nd, John Bender has now moved into the top 20 as well, from 32nd to 17th. Looking to have a little bounce back recovery after struggling at Indianapolis. Ralph Hutchison, 22nd, has moved up to P12, and 10 spots for Shane Clore from 20th to 10th. And of course, Justin Levine from 24th to 7th.
I'm gonna keep my eye on here on this restart though. Got your Dover winner sitting there in P4 right now, Patrick Gitter, at Fortis Motorsports Chevrolet. Be interesting to see what he's got up his sleeve, because when I think of tracks where you have heavy tire wear, I always see that 21 machine in the picture.
He always seems to find his way up towards the front of the field towards the end of these races, like you touched on, Sheldon, where he finds his way and is able to take the lead and then pull away from the competition because of how well he's able to save his equipment. Fred, the pace car driver, will make the hard left turn down on the pit road. Barney the flag man will have the green flag in the air as they enter into the restart zone. And we're back at it here. 42 laps complete as they cross the line. Conklin already stretches it out to about a car length advantage as they head down into one.
It's a way better launch for Conklin that time, able to get clear of the field here, not get bottled up in traffic. Had a little bit of wheel spin on the initial start, but the restart looking better for the 10 machine as he starts to open a 0.2 of a second advantage over Michael Conti in second. Meanwhile, Dylan Banks trying to wrap the outside line around Patrick Gitter, and he's going to take over the third spot here on the front straightaway.
Taking over the spot here as they come through, and here comes Dylan Banks around the outside to get around Patrick Gitter for position. He'll move up into P3. Lou Christian looking to see if he can find his opening, but here comes Gulata. He is picking him up and putting him down as he tries to break back into the top 10 after just only a handful of laps. He's able to now fight his way through. He'll look to the inside of Brandon Pascalacqua for the 8th spot, as well as also Justin Levine. He wanted to try to get the 2-for-1 special, couldn't make it work. We'll stick with buy one. He'll try to get the other one for free here as they come off of 2.
To the back bumper, Levine in turn 3 down to the bottom of the track. Not able to get there, though, as Levine uses the momentum to try and get past Benefield here on the front straightaway, and he's going to get him cleared by the line. Justin Levine moving up into 6th spot here, and still looking for more as he goes to the top around Lou Christian and potentially Patrick Gitter.
Great drive right here by all of these competitors as Gitter is trying to hold off the hard charge of Levine and Gulata. They'll go around the outside to try to pick up the big momentum and pick up the 2-for-1 special. As you ride on board with Lou Christian, you see Gulata trying to push the Toyota of Justin Levine ahead of Patrick Gitter, and they will make it work. Gulata power move on the outside as well, completes the pass as they head down the backstretch.
You know, I like the strategy too. You know, they saw Gossett do the same thing on the initial start. Went up there and yeah, he fell back at the end of the run, burned the tires a little bit. But the thing is, he would have probably, if it wasn't for the snap and the slide at the start finish line, would have probably only fallen back to about 3rd or 4th place on that run, which is a net positive. As well as see Keegan Sabila working his way up here into 8th spot now as he gets past the machine of Benefield. Gulata already up to 3rd place, now to the outside trying to get past Michael Conti here for 2nd. Through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Looks like Gulata is going to have the advantage coming into turn 3. Yes, he does, taking away the spot from Michael Conti. Now charging to try and get past your race leader of Sean Conklin.
One thing I've been noticing right now amongst your drivers like Gulata and Justin Levine, they are pulling the same kind of strategy that Tommy Gossett is, utilizing those fresh tires and early to try and get up to the front of the field before, as Sean Conklin will battle his way with the driver of Joseph Gulata for the race lead side by side, and Gulata's trying to power move, but with those two battling, this will bring the driver of Michael Conti into the mix. Sean Conklin trying to give the spot, but also it seems like he's not wanting to give the spot away as he tries to keep him up on the top side of the racetrack. Conklin will power move as Gulata hits the wall.
It's not going to slow him down much, though. He's still going to take that outside line. He's still got the quarter pound of the 10 machine here. They're 3 and 4. Gulata trying to charge down the front straightaway and take away the lead. But this right here is a losing battle for both of these guys if they stay bottled up like this for too long. Because Conklin desperately needs to be able to get to the top of the track to square off his corner exits. And Gulata needs to just be able to get in front here, and he takes away the spot coming down the back straightaway. So Joseph Gulata, now your race leader, 52 laps on the board.
It's absolutely incredible of how hard they are racing right now, as Justin Levine is now trying to get around the driver of Michael Conti for position. There you also see the driver of Luke Christian. Also, it is a 5-car breakaway. Keegan Sabila sitting comfortably in the 6th and 7th position. They got Dylan Banks right there, kind of being the gatekeeper before they hit the top 5, but your top 5 has broken away by just about 1 second over the rest of the field.
They're right up at the front of the pack. You got the guys that have been charging, trying to get the lead taken away. Then starting with Banks, it's just the first of the guys that are on that super safe strategy with their tires right now is Levine working the outside line, trying to get past Conti into 3. and has the advantage coming out turn 4. Justin Levine now cycles himself up to the 3rd position.
Great fight here, as here comes Tommy Gossett as well. Remember, he was started in 24th position when we went back green flag racing. He's already up to P9 and wanting more.
Oh, three wide up in the wall. Kazi
hits the outside wall coming off of turn number 2, and he's got a little bit of damage there.
That's heavy contact with the outside wall for Kazi. And Tommy Gossett going to take over both spots down the back straightaway into 3.
Opens the door for drivers like Patrick Gitter and Shane Clore to try to see if they can get around Joseph Kazi in that wounded number 88 machine as they head down the back straightaway. Gitter will look to the inside, try to make the pass complete. Not going to work so, as here comes the silver bullet as well of John Binder right there in 12. Let's take a look at the replay to see what happened here as they come off of turn number 2. And I think he just went up the track a little bit too much when he...
There was a lap before. We'll get a good eye on it here in a second. Kazi's going to send it to the top here to try and take over Keegan.
Keegan comes up, washes it up a little bit, and then right there, just got squeezed a little bit too much.
There wasn't really any contact. I think it was just a deal of Kazi didn't want to wreck a teammate and kind of misjudged it, sacrificed himself a little bit in the DeWalt Camry. Also, Justin Levine working up to 2nd spot now as he passed Sean Conklin a few laps ago. Now trying to make moves to your race leader here. Joseph Gulata still at the point. A little bit of wiggle out of the 98 machine out of turn 2. Dives it way down to the bottom of the track. Here comes Justin Levine trying to work the outside line. Try and get past him. They're going to be side by side out of turn 4. And at the stripe, it's going to be Levine by a nose over Gulata.
Beautiful drive right there for Justin Levine, as he will have the race lead and pick up where he left off when he left Indianapolis a week ago, and now tries to continue on his way as Sean Conklin now looks to try to get around the big-time block right there of Joseph Gulata, but Conklin not phased by it as he will now power move to the inside, trying to push Gulata up the track to take the spot away.
Gulata's not going to make this easy on him. There's anybody that likes to make it hard to pass in this series, it's going to be that 98 machine of Gulata. And if I was Levine, I'd be getting down to the bottom and wrapping the paint, trying to save what's left of those tires for this run is over.
Yeah, we are already approaching close to another 30-lap run here, and these drivers are trying to take care. They've already fallen off a significant margin. We're already at a 2nd where these tires have started to fall off a little bit, so they got to be careful because these tires are going to continue to wear further and further down as we see Conklin and Gulata battling for position. That's helping Levine, but the problem is once Conklin clears or Gulata clears, it's going to be back to square one.
Worry a little bit about Conklin. Conti's been able to just keep the thing where it's at and save those tires the best he can. Conklin kind of keeps ending up in a situation where he's having to battle on the bottom. And I just worry about the longevity of the right front. They make contact into turn 3. A little bit of a misjudgment out of Gulata. Almost sends the 10 machine around. But it's going to give the opportunity for Conklin to take over 2nd spot.
Great pass right there for Sean Conklin. And now Gulata is starting to fade a little bit because here comes Michael Conti to the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side for 3rd as they come off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. And Gulata hits the wall again.
All that time in the outside lane. Coming back to bite him here. Their right rear tire probably chewed off pretty bad for the 98 machine. Next one you got to worry about is Levine up there at the point, because he's been up there just about as much as Gulata has.
He has been holding station right now. He's about a 10th slower than 2nd place Sean Conklin and about average with Michael Conti right now. But here comes Conklin to the bottom, riding against the paint here as they come off turn number 4. He'll show the nose, but Levine holds on for the time being. Sheldon, as we watch this battle here, we see Conti pushing a little bit of the envelope, but also not pressing to where he could wear his tires. What are some ways for you that we could see as here comes Conklin back at it to the inside, side by side, hold that moment as they go down. Levine will concede the race lead for the time being.
Yeah, we're at that point now where the guys have gone up top and been aggressive with it. We're going to lose some spots here. You see Conti take the pass for second. The main way to just save the tires here, it's the same thing as Rockingham. And the people that are good at Rockingham are typically always good at Iowa because it's the same mentality. You just get down on the bottom of the track and you basically treat it like Kevin Harvick used to treat Phoenix or Atlanta. Wrap the paint on both ends of the speedway and put as low throttle in as you can, as low wheel in it as you can.
Well, it seems to be working for some of these drivers right here as they ride that white line as much as they can. And Tommy Gosson has already broken into the top 5 after getting around Gulata. Meanwhile, Kazi and Binder battle for position inside the top 10.
Binder down to the inside of Kazi into turn 3. It's been a really good run for John Binder. It's the kind of run that we've seen that I saw him frequently in the ISCA. And since he switched over here to the OB Builders Cup, it's been a bit of a struggle for him, but this week, everything coming together nicely for the 23 machine as he moves up into the 10th position over Joseph Kazi. And, in ISCA, Bender was the guy that would start dead last every week and somehow work his way up to 5th before it was over. So, I think the sky is still the limit for the 23 Coors Light Silver Bullet.
Great drive right now for him as we go a little further back. Chris Vinson along with Ralph Hutchinson also in the battle as they're 2x2, 3 rows deep off of turn number 2. And Keegan Sabila also one of those drivers in the hunt as they try to catch up. Kazi, though, kind of being that cork in the bottle here, was trying to recover from the damage that he received off turn 2 a few laps ago.
Yeah. As hard of a hit as Kazi took and the amount of damage we saw on the right front, I have to think that there might be something wrong with the suspension on the 88 Camry.
Absolutely. Well, with that, while we watch our competitors going at it here, 71 laps are about to be completed out of the 230. You're watching the OB Builders Cup Series live here on Grid Vision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Series, live on Grid Vision. I'm Sheldon Atkins, joined in the booth by Taylor Burris, and down on the truck, Austin Derbyshire. 79 laps on the board. Sean Conklin with a 0.2 of a second advantage over Michael Conti. And it's definitely going to be a battle for the ages here between a legend on the iRacing service and somebody that's very well carving out a very strong reputation as one of the best of current active drivers here in whether it be A-Open, NIS, or, tonight with the OB Builders Cup.
Absolutely, Sheldon, as they work their way around the circuit, and Michael Conti starting to put a little pressure on the young gun of Sean Conklin as they come off a turn number 4. He'll show the nose here, and fortunately, we already do have one retirement already. Ralph Hutchinson out of the race as we ride on board with Michael Conti.
He saw all over the back bumper coming into turn 1, struggling a little bit with the dirty air center off. It's really the only thing that's holding that the 38 machine back from pouncing. Sorry about that, guys. I learned how to speak here in Virginia, so we stumble sometimes.
Tommy
to the bumper.
So here's the reason why Ralph Hutchinson had an issue and is no longer competing in tonight's race. He'll send it on into turn 1. Just a little bit off that white line right here. And waiting.
Get there. Wondering if there might have been something external that pulled him away there.
Could be a possibility, but unfortunately he is the first retirement out of 33 cars here tonight. Hopefully we'll see him back for future OB Builders Cup Series events.
Sure of it.
So keeping an eye here on a couple of things, Sheldon. Of course, Tommy Gossett has now moved up to P3. Justin Levine still maintains that 4th position while Gulata sits P6. So it seems like everyone's kind of now tapered off, is now running around the same lap times for the most part here. So, and trouble for Joshua Hyatt, and nearly loses it off turn 1.
Hyatt's been definitely going through a bit of a slump here in the 2 machine. Rough week last week at Indy. And it just compounds a little bit here as he shows us what a 670 horsepower lawnmower looks like from Iowa Speedway. And a little bit of a bump there from Conti to the back bumper of Conklin.
Oh boy, here we go. It's 2 of the biggest teams in the world of iRacing going at it. It's the Ryko boys versus the Conti men as they come out of turn number 4. As they come out of working out of turn number 1 and 2. And so far, it's going to be a close fight for position, but it's going to be Sean and Conklin who will maintain as Joshua Hyatt concedes and lets them go around.
Tommy Gossett carves his way all the way up to 3rd after the spin earlier, and looks like he's done a better job of saving tires than the rest of them, because he's really starting to cut into the advantage that Conti and Conklin have built up here. If these 2 start racing for the lead, it could really open the door for Tommy Gossett to sneak away with one here.
It's going to be interesting to see because Tommy Gossett's in a prime condition there in the catbird seat, ready to get around if these 2 start tangling up a little bit. And he has been showing some decent pace as Brandon Pascalacqua having some issues. Nope, he's just conceding position to Adam Benefield for the time being. Apologies, hearing that over the radio.
Luke Christian on probably a seasonal best run so far here from with Speedway, sitting in 5th place. As we look at Patrick Gitter going out with Joseph Gulata. Gulata still trying to stop the bleeding after the massive loss in positions after he burned off those tires at the start of this run. It looks like Gulata might be trying to bring it down to pit. Yes, he is bringing her down pit road here for 4 tires and some Sunoco fuel.
Yeah, it's a little early.
Clean entry. Doesn't look like he's going to get speeding.
Yeah, it's a little early for fuel, but those tires are already way past due. So yeah, he is coming down, and he will go at least 2 laps down.
That was a big wiggle out of Tommy Gossett coming out of turn 2. Pit window definitely opening up here because these guys are going to really want to get down and get some tires here pretty soon. 51 laps. These guys are probably sitting at around 50% on these tires.
And here they come down pit road as it looks like Joshua Hyatt also had to come down pit road as he gets in front of Levine. Does he do the same thing? Yes, he does. Same song, different verse, though, as he pounds the inside pit wall right there. And unfortunately, that's going to cause some significant damage to the nose of that number 2 machine.
Right now, all eyes on Sean Conklin as he leads this field around to take lap 93. And a bunch of lap traffic out the window.
Absolutely a tough break right there as we pick up Sean Conklin, who is now negotiating more lap traffic. Jose Medina, Chris Crosby, and Randy Mullins, the next cars to go laps down here for the first time, as they'll now go towards the outside lane here.
Starting to worry a little bit. We've seen Sean up here working this outside line a lot more this section of the stint here.
Well, the thing that's helping him, though, I have to say, Sheldon, is that also Conti has been working that outside lane, as Richard Kleinman saying he's going to be coming down pit road this time by. So pit stop cycles are commencing.
Tommy's lost a lot of time here once they hit traffic.
Yeah, he's fallen to almost 2 seconds behind your race leaders right now as they put the 54 machine of Randy Mullins lap down as he hits a wall.
Tommy up into the fence in the center of 1 and 2.
Did he blow
like
it?
Maybe, I don't know if it's a tire. It's definitely not a tire because he was able to get through 3. But I think he got up a little bit high in 1 and 2 and hit the bump, and it probably shot the car up the racetrack a little bit. That's going to open the door. Justin Levine's going to take over 3rd spot from Tommy Gossett.
Tough break there for Tommy Gossett here as he was having a good run, but that will give the spot back to Levine. And here comes Lou Christian, Dylan Banks, and Adam Benefield as the caution is out. Chris Vincent having some trouble out there.
Chris may have tore that thing up a little bit more than he wanted to. So he dives it down in turn 1. And just a big slide out of the 33 machine. Wondering if that might have been a right rear.
I don't think it would be a right rear because if it was, he would have shot up further than what we would have expected.
I know I blew one in the same spot this week. And absolutely murdered Joseph Squared in the process. And we're going to lead the pack down pit road here.
Everybody coming down pit road, and it's the long drive all the way to your pit box if you're the front runners. Of course, a couple of drivers are going to stay out. Drivers like Chris Crosby, Jose Medina, and Joseph Gulata to try to get their laps back. As Conklin enters the pit box, we'll see who's the first one off pit road here as they race around to put the 4 tires and fuel on. The only thing, I know we can see in sim the your pit crew working. The only thing that'd be much cooler is we could actually see that on the stream, like when we're watching, spectating these events.
Pretty awesome.
That would be. With that, though, it will be Sean Conklin, Michael Conti, Justin Levine, Randy Mullins, Dylan Banks, your top 5, Luke Christian, Tommy Gossett, Adam Benefield, Patrick Gitter, and Brandon Pascalacqua, your top 10 off pit road. So now we're pretty good running so far.
Green here, we'll have a full A open to complete.
Our producer's ecstatic.
You get a shot caller for Darby for these nights that he gets tired.
He's all wide open there. I have to say, Sheldon, he's ready to go. He's ready to do another one right after this one.
Actually, we might just cover the A Open that comes on after this.
Don't
Right?
push your luck, Sheldon.
I'll damn sure be racing it.
Darby may be ready, but I'll be like, you know what? I'm ready for bed.
She said that he's going to be playing Tarkov after this, so I don't know how that game works, but if you can find a way to go troll him, do it.
Well, lights are out on the pace car. It means only one thing. Once they come around 100 laps complete, just about 130 laps to go.
Like Dylan. Looks like Dylan Banks took 2 tires on pit road there, gaining a bunch of spots. Into the restart zone, though, it's Sean Conklin and Michael Conti. Conklin grabs the gas quick here, takes an early advantage across the line. Now Justin Levine dives down to the inside of Michael Conti into turn 1. But Conti's going to be able to use the top line to pull himself around here down the back straightaway and maintain second position.
Great drive right there as he will hold on to that position. But here comes Tommy Gossett. He's going to try to see if he can fill the gap right there in between the drivers of the 48 machine, as well as also Luke Christian. But Patrick Gitter, he's going to go high, wide, and handsome around the outside to pick up a couple of spots as Luke Christian shuts the door on Tommy Gossett.
And 3 wide. A little bit of contact between Gossett and Christian. Gossett gets up into the 3 machine. They both go around on the back straightaway.
Well, does Luke Christian not make any contact? I think he was safe to not make contact with the outside, inside wall right there, so he should be safe, but still, tough break right there.
Certainly lucky he didn't hit that tire pack. You see Christian sitting in there, gets a little tight and washes up the hill, trying to avoid getting into Gitter. Then Gossett gets into him, and they both finish each other off. So the 103 laps on the board here. We're going to send it to a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be back to bring you more of the racing action here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back to the crop-dusted cornfields of Iowa. I'm Sheldon Atkins here on Grid Vision. This is the OB Builders Cup Series, 106 laps on the board out of 230. Sean Conklin and Michael Conti up here at the point with Justin Levine sitting in third, Dylan Banks fourth, and running at the top five is Patrick Gitter. Lights out on the pace car here as we work ourselves into the OB Builders restart zone. Pace car making the deep descent. And to the throttle is Sean Conklin. And the rest of the field trying to keep up.
And away they go. Shane Clore, unfortunately, had some issues. He is also out of the race as the field works their way off turn number 2. As trouble for one driver, Dylan Banks hits the outside wall. That could open the door for Patrick Gitter to take over the spot here as they go side by side off turn number 4.
Straight away here, Sean Conklin going to lead lap 108 over Michael Conti. Banks side by side with Patrick Gitter. Gitter going to get the advantage through 1 and 2. Slide up in front of the 48 machine. Patrick Gitter now. Oh, we got a car around in the back of the pack. The 3 machine, a Luke Christian. It was a great day for Lou. It's just completely been erased with the contact with Gossett earlier. Now a little bit of contact between, well, a little bit of net code between him and Chris Davis is going to send the 3 machine around again. Producer brings a good point. Could have been worse.
Could have been much worse.
Much worse. He just, net code just absolutely wiped him out here in a 1.
Well, the good news is he's still got all fenders on that car. Nothing's too bent up. Just got to probably waste a set of tires, though, unfortunately, because of him looping it around.
You know, he didn't throttle it. He locked it down, so he should be all right. You know, when you really get into trouble when you throttle it and kill that right rear. Bit of a disadvantage here, but, you know, he's been fast all race. He can probably carve himself back up to the top 10 before we get another caution if he's just able to keep it pointed in the right direction.
Keep it pointed. That's going to be the key to this victory, or his chances to work his way back up to the field.
No shame, though, because he was running real well up at the front of the pack there.
Seeing here, does anybody get their lap back? I see Richard Kleinman is 1 lap down. So we'll see if he gets the lucky dog position back for him, or Chris Crosby, one of the two.
We're going to get to see another long green run again. We've definitely ended up in a cautions loop here the past couple restarts.
Hopefully we can just get ourselves lined back up and ready to go once again here, because we've been having such great racing, surprisingly, with 111 laps as, well, we are in the pace car. Should be getting 1 to green this time by. Survey says.
No, it's what we need is the choose cone.
That would be a cool deal.
Just be absolutely amazing.
Probably a lot of chaos, though. That's probably why we don't do the choose cone.
Yeah, honestly, we have a hard enough time trying to figure out how to grid on our own. Choose cone probably just make that a little bit worse.
It would be.
Lined up here. Sean Conklin at the point still. Get her back up to fourth now. The 21 machine. Pace car getting ready to make its dive down pit road here. Turn this 32 car field loose. Green flag in the air. Sean Conklin. Get him across the line here. Nice little advantage. Not the best of resource for Conti as Justin Levine is down to the inside here in 1 and 2. Going to be side by side, door to door out of turn 2. Justin Levine with the advantage down the back straightaway, but here comes Conti with the momentum. Now through 3 and 4. Levine really making it work on the bottom, but not going to be enough. Here comes Conti back up, securing second. Now Levine under fire from Patrick Gitter.
Great drive right here as Levine tries to power his way back on the bottom of the racetrack. The Toyota tries to get a move, but Patrick Gitter still holding strong on the outside lane. Will squeeze him up as trouble for John Bender. Loses it off turn number 2, and he's still losing it around. He's able to save it. Beautiful recovery, because that would have been bad.
Tell you what, that man did everything he could to keep that car pointing in the right direction, keep the green flag out. John Bender going to be the sacrificial lamb, but that was a class act from the driver of the 23 machine.
Drive right there as he will keep it going here for the time being as the field works their way down course towards turns 3 and 4. And so far, Levine and Gitter still swapping for positions as Levine now swaps to the outside lane. Gitter stays towards the bottom as we'll take a look at the replay with John Bender.
Inside here into turn 1. Down, gets a little too much of the grip on the bottom end of the track. Kicks the back end out ever so slightly. Oxen does a great job locking it up there to keep it pointing in the right direction.
Doing exactly what he needed to do.
That could have been huge in front of all those cars coming down the backstretch.
Absolutely. He did a great job. Great recovery to hold on to that car, and he will continue on his way through as he tries to hold off the competition in his spot. And he's got a lot of work to do as he sits 29th, the last car on the lead lap.
Chad Gibby doing a good job today, sitting around 10th place. Off and on season for him here, but putting together some pretty good momentum here at Iowa to maybe walk out with a nice top 10. Plus, a lot of trying to recover after mistakes on pit road and just being a little too aggressive on the tires, trying to work his way back up here into the top 5, sitting in 11th right now.
Everyone's now kind of tapered off a little bit. A couple of drivers, Michael Conti setting fast pace right here. In fact, him and Conklin have set the fastest laps of the race, breaking the 22-second barrier here as they are blistering around the circuit. Levine staying tucked up close behind as he's trying to keep pace with your top 2 as he'll now run the outside lane as they have pulled away from Patrick Gitter.
Doing a good job maintaining tires here, trying to maintain the gap at the same time. See him working way low here on the in the corners, just trying to keep those right sides under him. And one guy not worrying about keeping it low, Justin Levine, trying to get a little bit more on that outside line and trying to get to the quarter panel with Michael Conti.
Doing everything
Not
that
able
he
to get
can.
it to work in his favor just yet.
Yeah, it's not coming. Yeah, it's not coming to his favor here, but he might be able to hold on here for the race as they work their way around the circuit. Looks like Adam Benefield having a little bit of issues with the driver of Dylan Banks, but is able to keep on holding to position as he sits in the 6th position.
And Benefield sitting in 6th place right now, just behind Dylan Banks. Good run so far for the Team Conti Sim Performance Machine. And Conti is all over the back bumper of Sean Conklin here on the front straightaway. Down to 1 and 2. Conti holding the bottom line. Here comes Conklin, though, trying to muscle around the top. Almost to the quarter panel. With a huge run down the back straightaway. He's going to push him into turn 3. Conklin going to try and block the middle here through 3 and 4. A little bit of a wiggle. Here comes Conti firing back on the inside now.
Doing everything that he can here to hold off the drive that we see here as Conti looks to the inside. Big run for him as he puts the bumper to Sean Conklin, gathers it up, and continues on. But that was almost could have been the pass to the race lead.
Point 2 as the front bumper start coming into play. It's a huge run out of turn 4 for Conti down to the inside. A little bit of a door check into turn 1. Conti sending it down to the apron of the track, though. Conklin going to find the momentum and muscle up off of the corner, though, to try and get clear of the 38 machine, but it's not going to be enough. Down to 3, Conti to the bottom. Conklin working the top, and Conklin's going to muscle around and take the lead back out of turn number 4.
Beautiful drive right there as Conklin is able to hold off the multi-time champion here, and he is able to do so coming through the corner and out of turn number 2, and he will pull away for a brief moment, gets a little bit of breathing room now. It's about a car length separating the two as they headed back into turn 3 and 4. Levine watching on in the catbird seat as they come off of turn number 4. Nose to tail, Patrick Gitter trying to close the gap between himself and the top 3.
Another strong run here, and we see Tommy Gossett revolving door to the front, working his way back up into the top 10 again here, sitting in 7th spot in the 07 machine. We see him go through 2 wild spins here this afternoon, and not giving up, refusing to quit.
Absolutely no give up whatsoever for Tommy Gossett or for Joseph Gulata as he's trying to fight his way back through the field. There you see Joseph Kazi, who's recovered nicely as we are closing in on 100 laps to go.
Also, Conti losing a little bit of the magic, falling back off of your race leader, Sean Conklin here. Conklin opening up to a 0.3 of a second advantage. The biggest margin that he's had over this 38 machine, and well, it feels like since the green flag came out.
Keeping an eye here as, unfortunately for Joshua Hyatt, he has taken it behind the wall. His day is done as well, as we keep an eye on your top 3 here as they work their way through. And Michael Conti going middle lane along with Justin Levine. Sean Conklin staying tucked up against that white line through the corner as they work their way around the circuit here and continue to move on further back. Joseph Gulata sitting P12, trying to see if he can get back into the top 10 after his second half of the race not going in his favor here in this stage.
Up and down day for the 98 machine. See him give up a spot there. Coming down pit road, going to take 4 tires and some fuel. Gotta be careful of those barrels. Gets close to it, but keeps it off. This is one of those pit entries that'll creep up on you.
It certainly will be, and it is definitely a tough break here for these drivers as they try to work around the circuit here. And now Levine's starting to lose a little bit of ground to your top 2. Almost hits the outside wall off turn 4.
Levine put together such a good year this year. Sitting second in points right now in the OB Builders Cup standings, sitting second in points in NIS Open as well. So you get a look at the live standings. If they were to finish how they were right now, Conklin would be stretching that advantage ever so slightly over Justin Levine this week. Basilak was sitting in 3rd. Great year for him so far. Gitter in 4th. And Derek Heitman not running this weekend, so going to lose out. We see Conti making another stab at it here on the outside line. He gets a really good run through center in 3. Up against the wall. He's going to get the quarter panel coming here into turn 1. Is he going to be able to have enough steam to get past the 10 machine of Conklin? The outside line down the back straightaway now. It's a drag race into turn 3. Conklin leads down into the corner. But here comes Conti firing back with the outside line momentum. I mean, door to door, a little bit of a bobble for Conti. He's going to lose a little bit of ground here, but still able to stay on the quarter pound 1.
Great drive right here between these two competitors as they come off turn number 2, and Conti tries to cross him over down to the bottom of the racetrack side by side for the race lead. He's got a nose. He'll send it down deep into turn 3 and 4, trying to push the driver of Sean Conklin up the track a little bit to get that position. Not going to work as Conklin powers his way back around to maintain the race lead here.
Conti now sending it down to the bottom of the track, trying to cool the tires a little bit and make another stab at it here. It's a good run through 1 and 2, but loses a little bit of ground on corner exit out of 2. This is where he's going to struggle, though. That outside line, we see how much it can pull you down the straightaway. It's not like it used to be before they reconfigured the track, but that little bit of advantage goes a long way here.
It certainly does, Sheldon, as they work their way around the circuit, and Conti trying to make another charge. Once again, gets a great run off turn number 2. Tries to see about showing the nose. Doesn't be able to do so this time. Goes around the outside with some big help from that momentum in order to make the pass work. Not going to work. Crosses back down to the bottom. We'll stay tucked up behind him for the time being.
I do think at this point, though, Conti is just a little bit quicker than Conklin.
I would just say just a tick.
He just keeps getting really good runs to pull him up to the back bumper. It's just so hard to get past, though. Catching him's one thing, passing him's another, especially with this next-gen car, where you're so limited on places you can put the car, and you're so limited because of the dirty air coming off the car in front of you. It feels like you can't even get to the rear bumper to turn somebody in this car unless you absolutely blow your corner to get to him.
Here comes a big run right now from Michael Conti as he is trying to get back on the bumper of Sean Conklin as they come off at turn 4. Gets his nose right there, seeing if he can set himself up for a pass. Not able to do so as Conklin now starting to throw a little bit of a block right there, trying to keep him blocking that arrow around the number 38 machine of Michael Conti. And so far, that's working in his advantage.
Straightaway still Sean Conklin in charge. 142 laps down, just bring us to 143 here. Down to 1 and 2. Conti still opting for that bottom lane, trying to keep clean air on the nose and keep those tires cool. Conklin trying to get that momentum on the top line to carry him out of striking distance, but it's not working as Conti gets down to the quarter panel, but not able to carry the momentum off the corner.
Field now works their way through. Here comes a big run as they come off of turn number 2. Conklin trying to hold on, and Conti doing everything he can to make that pass stick. He can't quite seem to pull it down, and with these two battling, though, it is bringing Justin Levine back into the mix.
Top of the track, here comes Conti now with another charge at it. Down to 1 and 2. Conklin holds the advantage for now, but Conti's going to fire up off the corner with a huge head of steam, and this is going to be enough to clear him down the back straightaway. Michael Conti, 145 laps in. Now your race leader coming into turn 3, but here comes Conklin looking to get on the bottom.
Field now works their way around the circuit here as we are approaching lap traffic of Richard Kleiman and Joseph Gulata, along with Brian Johnson and Chris Crosby.
What an all-star battle between these two up at the front. I mean, this is two of the best on the service in the business. You know, you got I wouldn't say an ex-pro, a legendary retired pro driver, Michael Conti, up here at the front. And you have somebody that, you know, next year, a year or so from now, you're going to see on the grid starting for the Pro Series with Sean Conklin. Two great drivers up here battling it out. and sitting there not too far behind him. Probably the best, my personal opinion, one of the best out of the non-pro guys that you see out here. Somebody, just normal guy, Justin Levine, that 19 machine, hanging tight with these guys the entire run. Be careful though. Every time I say something nice about Justin, he finds a way to wreck and then blame it on me.
Absolutely. I have to say, it's been a little bit of a crazy night here for drivers like Justin Levine as we watch them work their way around, with Conti taking over the race lead here as he pulls away from the driver of Sean Conklin by about 0.4 of a second right now. A couple of drivers are saying and alerting others that they will be coming down pit road here pretty soon.
It's definitely time. So how much does that tire fall off hit us for now?
Right now, fastest lap, we're looking at 1.5 seconds.
That window where we start to see guys struggle with the handling of these things. Around when we hit that 1.5 seconds mark is when we start seeing cars go around.
So as we keep an eye on the competition here with these competitors, there you see Adam Benefield, currently P5, trying to catch up to Tommy Gossett for P4. He was about almost 0.2 faster last time by than Tommy Gossett, and he has been working his way through. In fact, he's almost faster than some of your race leaders inside the top 3. So keep an eye on that number 83 machine as he's working his way through.
Now, like I said earlier, Benefield, when it comes to these tracks, we really chunk into the tires. Benefield, Gitter. I mean, obviously Conklin, but we give him flowers enough around here. Those are the guys that I really see carve their way through traffic, and they just do a great job of maintaining the equipment they have beneath them.
Certainly do.
They tend to be pretty deadly here at tracks like this, like Rockingham, Dover, Darlington. Any place that has an abrasive surface that really chews through those Goodyear Eagles.
Currently 23 cars are on the lead lap. Paul Gallimore about to be put a lap down here pretty soon as we keep an eye on a couple of drivers further back. That's around Randy Phelps. That's around 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's Greg Carr and Chris David.
It's been a pretty good long run over here so far. I hope I didn't just curse that.
You might have done that.
Not again.
Yes, we did.
You don't need to start hitting me more.
I mean, we try, but you always seem to bounce back.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I am pretty resilient.
You are. But as we keep an eye here on some of the other drivers, we pick up Michael Conti, putting another car a lap down. That was Randy Mullins.
Look at how much of an advantage Michael Conti has built already. To 0.9 of a second, separating first from second place. Conti in a different zip code here when it comes to this long run pace. I mean, at the end of the day, though, with the experience that Michael Conti has behind the wheel of cars here on iRacing, I mean, do we really expect anything less?
No.
So look at a little bit of a cluster here. Adam Benefield trying to go toe-to-toe with Tommy Gossett here in the midst of lap traffic. Front straightaway, Adam Benefield going to take away the spot from Tommy Gossett down here into turn 1.
Gap right now is 1 second between Conti and Sean Conklin, but Benefield is now cleared as we get around the lap car of Randy Mullins here around for as we go on board with Adam Benefield sitting P4.
Pretty iconic paint scheme there for Benefield.
Yep. For pretty much as long.
Man, they had a metallic blue for about 4 or 5 years at this point.
He's been running that paint scheme for as long as I've known him racing around here on the iRacing platform.
Something about consistency, am I right?
Nothing
Is
wrong
Justin
with that.
Levine dives the 19 Mac Tools Camry down pit road here for 4 tires and fuel. Yeah, that's where the speed is right there. You can see how smooth that Cat in that 83 machine's being. Just getting her right down there, tucked up on the line, letting the car go where the car wants. Not overdriving it, not forcing it. Just patience. And it's the long game here. Once we get a long green flag run, that's what pays off.
Absolutely, and that's always the best thing here. When you get that long green flag run, you take care of your tires, you take care of your equipment, and you are able to still run some good, consistent lap times here. That's always one of my favorite things when it comes to working on a setup, working on the car, to where once you get to that point after running laps for a long period of time, you find that plateau and you keep it there consistently all the way to when you're ready to come down pit road.
Having a pretty good run right now too, though. Another one of those guys I think of when I think of the long run pace here. The 6th machine of Brandon Pasalacqua. Good run for him tonight. Did pretty damn well at Dover a few weeks ago. That's another one of those guys too that's just really good about maintaining what he has. Brandon started this thing off in 16th, climbed himself up to 7th here.
He's been consistently inside the top 10 for a majority of this race here and doing a great job of just staying right there in the mix in a hunt for a top 10, getting some much valuable points here in the championship as we watch these drivers work their way through and negotiate through the lap traffic and the chaos as Pasalacqua, along with the 50 machine of Josh Schaffner, he's right there up ahead. Schaffner is a lap down in 25th.
I'm sure Schaffner was hoping to get a little bit more out of the corn machine here in corn country.
Curious to see what the lap time or how long these drivers been out here. They've been out there for almost 70 laps for your front runners, excluding the driver sitting in P3, Adam Benefield. He's been out there for, actually not Benefield, but Tommy Gossett, 62 laps for him, and your top 3, 68 laps. So it's going to be a close call to see how much longer these drivers are going to continue to stay out there on the racetrack with this situation. Of course, the one with the freshest tires out there is going to be a little further back, the driver of Justin Levine with 6 laps older tires.
Hey, what? Sitting in 13th right now. DeCiani, that's somebody we haven't mentioned any today. There's one thing I've noticed. The weeks that we don't mention him, he tends to be pretty deadly at the end of these things.
Yes, he does, as Tommy Gossett comes down pit road to service of his pit crew. Goes up on the jacks, and he will continue to service his car and rejoin the racetrack.
Conklin slowly falling back into that 2-second threshold now from your race leader.
I think right now for a driver like Michael Conti, now is the time to just go ahead, conserve your tires. You got a good lead advantage. Maybe save a little bit of fuel here and there. Try to stretch that out as long as you can make it. Or hopefully no caution comes out and try to put as many cars a lap down.
It's definitely a situation where you don't want to pit too early here because, you know, based on how things go, you know, very well could end up with somebody, you know, looping it directly after they come down. Don't get stuck a few laps down and ruin any chance you have of winning this thing. You look at the advantage right now. 2 seconds between first and second. 3 seconds back from that, Adam Benefield sitting in 3rd, followed by Patrick Gitter, 4th, 5th, Dylan Banks, 6th place, Brandon Pasalacqua, followed by Keegan Sabilo, Wiles, Chris Hudson, Joseph Causey, and Chad Gibby.
Good racing so far overall. We'll have to wait and see, Sheldon, as that is going to be one of the back markers coming down pit road. Russell Black comes down pit road as Sean Conklin now decide to pull the trigger and come down pit road.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has to. He's got to try and get that undercut to make up the difference in time between him and Conti there. Question is, how long is Conti going to wait before he fires back and comes down himself?
Well, Justin Levine's about to come around to get him back on the lead
Blowing
lap. And
Yep,
here he comes.
there it is. Michael Conti.
Oh, trouble.
Oh,
John Bender.
somebody into the tires. Oh, no.
Yeah, John Bender
Break.
hard into the, basically the water barrels on pit entrance.
Yeah, it's going to be a day ender for him. Benefo now scores your leader over Patrick Gitter, Dylan Banks, and Michael Conti. Still in fourth.
Riding on board with Conti as he is about to make his way, and here's Bender. What happened here? Oh, he just couldn't slow it up enough to get down low, and unfortunately hits the water barrel.
Yeah, I did the same thing earlier this week.
Not a good deal.
I was not aware of how abrupt a pit entrance that can be under green.
So we're under 60 laps to go.
Oh, contact. Past the Lachlan Conklin. Conklin goes around out of turn 2. Sideways and back up the track. Huge mess on the back straightaway. And Passalacqua hard into the outside wall.
Significant damage there for one of our points championship competitors. As we take a look at the replay, what happened here. Sean Conklin going around the outside, makes a little contact, and around Conklin goes, collects Pascalacqua.
There's always a risky move to make when you try to go to the outside. You come into the corner on the bottom, you try to take it center corner to the top. You get around somebody that's on older tires. They're going to slide up, and a lot of times they're not going to notice that you made the move to the top because they're so busy paying attention to what's going on in front of them, what's going on with the car. It's really, real shame for both of these drivers, both having great races.
Michael Conti caught a lap down, too. He won't get the lucky dog. In fact, he's going to be 19th, so he'll have to take a wave around if he chooses to do so, as there is 14 cars on the lead lap. Actually, a little bit more, as now more drivers are coming around, but Patrick Gitter caught with a break here to come down, get some fresh tires, and get himself ready to lead the field.
And 177 laps on the board, working another caution here. We're going to send off to another quick word from our sponsors. We'll be back to bring you more of the OB Boaters Cup Series racing action here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. both go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back to the W Builders Cup Series. Justin Levine at the point right now as they go 3 wide down into turn 1. Dylan Banks backing out of it, thinking better of it. Patrick Gitter going to rim the top line, though, and take the lead here through 1 and 2. And here comes Keegan Sabila looking to the outside.
What a bit of chaos happening here on this opening lap for these drivers on the restart, as Levine was actually scared to death of what happened here. And several drivers are working their way around, but Patrick Gitter will lead us as here comes Keegan Sabila to the inside of Justin Levine.
Keegan working the inside line here through 1 and 2. Going to take Levine pretty quick down the back straightaway. Teammate letting him have the spot here. Now does Keegan have what he needs to get to the back bumper of Patrick Gitter to get the job done, or is he going to fall prey to the machine of Dylan Banks right behind him? Right now, this race very well falling into the hands of Patrick Gitter with the incidents there under caution, or that led us to the caution.
It certainly is working in his favor right now. He's just got to hold off Keegan Sabila, Dylan Banks, and a hard-charging Tommy Gossett, who's all over Joseph Kazi for position right now, as they'll go side by side heading into turn 1.
Say what, though? Fighting with Keegan Sabila here on a short track might be a difficult one, you know. Kid's got a lot of experience running these short tracks here. 2022 CRA Late Model Sportsman Champion. Running that at the ripe old age of 15. What were you doing when you were 15, Taylor?
Just finishing up with middle school, high school stuff, and just doing what I can to just make it into the broadcasting world.
So you were in middle school and high school at the same time? That's crazy.
Hard to
They
believe
said
that.
I was in both at some point, but I don't think I was ever actually in them. But down to the bottom into turn 1. Here comes Keegan Sabila with a huge charge to the bottom of the track, trying to get past the 21 machine of Gitter. Loses a lot of momentum down the back straightaway, though, with that. Now he's going to fall into the middle of 3 wide as Tommy Gossett dives to the bottom with Dylan Banks to the outside. But the middle lane prevailing with the momentum here for Keegan as he gets back to the rear bumper of the 21 machine. It gives him a little bit of a push down into turn number 1.
He is getting a big run right here as they'll go side by side for position, and Tommy Gossett is getting the run he needs to get around Patrick Gitter with those fresh set of tires, and he has got it wound up, ready to go. He'll send it to the bottom of the racetrack and try and clear Patrick Gitter off turn number 4, pushing him up the racetrack, and he almost clears the 21 machine.
Tommy with an absolute roller coaster of a race, working his way up here into the lead through 1 and 2. But here comes Gitter with another charge to the outside line. Going to get side by side with him down the back straightaway. It's a drag race into turn 3. Here comes Tommy with the run to the bottom, trying for the slide job, and it looks like he's going to take it here. Tommy Gossett from first to worst to worst to first, and back to first again here. 188 laps in.
They come through the corner, and so far it's going to be, here comes that 48 machine of Dylan Banks with a big run. He'll go around the outside to try to pick up some momentum and get around Keegan Sabila. Levine coming down pit road. Does he have a right? Or oh, I think he has a tire
hard
down.
into the barrels. Yeah, hard into the barrels for Justin Levine.
I think he has a tire down. Look at how that car is kind of tilted over.
Something was up, because there would be no reason in the world why he would pit so short after a restart. Joseph Causey right now trying to work to the back bumper of the 77 machine of Keegan Sabila. Tommy Gossett walking away with a huge advantage on the back straightaway as Dylan Banks gives a little bit of a Harry Houdini act down the back straightaway.
That's a tough break for one of your championship competitors here as we pick up. Tommy Gossett has extended his lead by 1.2 seconds. And Dylan Banks and Patrick Gitter trying to recover and see if they can go hunt down your race leader.
Patrick Gitter trying to save tire here. You see Causey go up to the outside line again here into turn 3. But he kind of strung out here. Tommy Gossett opens up a massive 1.6 second advantage on the field, but I have to be worried though at the same time. You know, we saw Tommy go up to the front and pull away like this earlier in the race. I'm wondering how long those Goodyears are going to work with him though.
I'm curious too, because we saw him when he did this earlier of how well those tires worked in his favor, but how quickly he lost back while everyone else is kind of backing up, saving their equipment here. But the thing is, we're closing in on about 35 laps to go. So if he can play his cards right, he just pitted, he might be able to make it work.
Look at Sean Conklin trying to work his way past Brandon Passalacqua here. The outside here. Here comes Conklin down the back straight away. With the momentum, going to clear the 6 machine here into 3. Not quite, though. Passalacqua doing a great job hanging in.
Passalacqua doing everything he can to hold on here, even after his situation that happened. He's able to continue to press forward, sitting in 13th as Sean Conklin makes his move around the outside to hold on to that 12th position.
And after the incident earlier, too, the two are giving each other a little bit of extra wiggle room here, because the last thing you want to do when you wreck with somebody by accident, you know, a handful of laps earlier in the race is to make contact of any sort with them again. Last thing you want to do, especially on one of these short tracks, is just rouse somebody up by accident.
Field now works their way off of turn number 4 as we keep an eye on a couple of other battles. Passalacqua and Conklin still going at it as they work their way around the circuit. And so far, Michael Conti also trying to fight his way through, sitting in P7 as Sabila hits the wall.
Top. Here comes Banks and Patrick Gitter going at it here. Gitter trying to get past the 48 machine of Dylan Banks here to take over second spot. Banks going to send around the top of the track here to try and give himself a little bit more breathing room over the 21 machine, but here comes the 21 machine fighting back hard on the bottom. A little bit of contact with the wall for Gitter. Going to hurt the momentum down the back straightaway into 3. Now the question is Banks going to chew those Goodyears up too much running up like that?
That's going to be the question, as Joseph Gulata has taken it behind the wall. His night is done, unfortunately, as the field will continue pressing forward here. Under 30 laps to go, as I got to say, Tommy Gossett has pulled an incredible strategy right here if he's able to make this work, as Conti is trying to get around Chris Hudson. Mr. Consistency found his way into the top 10.
Too surprising. Hudson has been on a tear here in recent weeks, starting with the road courses. You know, before that, it felt like he was on the butt of every joke, just, you know, getting caught up in other people's messes and maybe, you know, trying to adapt to the car a little bit too. But ever since we hit the Daytona road course, Mexico City week, he has just been working his way up that totem pole week in and week out. And, you know, I figured it would be great for the road courses, and, you know, he'd probably fall back into a slump once we hit back to the ovals, just because of how competitive everything is in the ovals. If you're missing one thing, that one thing compounds. But it seems like he's found what he was looking for, as he clicks off another good top 10 position here, sitting in the 6th spot right behind Causey.
Doing all that he can right here to make sure it works out for him as they work their way off corner exit. As Joseph Kazi and Dylan Banks moving up a couple of spots. He's in the second position, getting around both Gitter and Keegan Sabila.
It has to be, these guys have to be careful though, running around Joseph Self-Spin Kazi there. Banks still trying to hold up Patrick Gitter. And Tommy Gossett is gone.
He is gone and continuing to pull away further and further. 2.6 seconds separate them here with just now under 30 laps to go as they continue to press forward here. And Gossett just now needs to maintain. He doesn't need to try to push his way forward. He doesn't need to overextend those tires. He's just got to maintain the gap now.
So speaking of self-spinning, Kobe Jackson, nice of you to join us in the chat tonight. Bumper to bumper here through 3. Gitter to the back bumper cover of the 48 machine of Dylan Banks. I think Gitter might be starting to lose a little bit of that patience here. Laps are starting to wind down. Just under 30 laps remaining here. Working the outside line through 1 and 2. Here comes Patrick Gitter with a huge charge down the back straightaway. He's going to clear Dylan Banks for second spot.
Oh, this is going to get good right here because here comes Adam Benefield also with a big run as he tries to get around some drivers. Michael Conti getting around Joseph Kazi to break into the top 5. So this is going to get interesting. Do they have enough time? I don't think they do to make a charge for Tommy Gossett. Maybe to Dylan Banks, but we'll see.
Really depends, though, on how much Tommy has worn his stuff out up there, though. Because he's charged a massive advantage over the field, but just based on everything I've seen this week, it's got to come back at some point. Keegan Sabilo making a dive down to the inside of Dylan Banks here through 3 and 4. Banks going to hold it off, though.
Sabila is trying to go for one of his best finishes of the season, I have to say, right here, as he tries to get a good run. Adam Benefield, though, is going to have something to say about that as he tries to make the run. Of course, I think Benefield is, yes, a lap down. So he is trying to catch up to Josh Schaffner to be the first car 1 lap down.
Our up brake for Benefield was running great. Came down pit road, then we had an incident. One of those guys that got really screwed over there with the caution mid-race. Keegan Sabilo now shouts down to the bottom of the track here to try and get by Banks. Gets a good run down the back straightaway. Now he's going to send it down into turn 3. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done, though, because we see how much that outside line momentum carries you down the straightaway. If he wants to get this pass done, he's got to get to the right rear quarter panel coming into the corner. But Banks isn't going to let him have it either, because he knows that if he can just keep up to that seam in the asphalt covered, there's no way that 77 machine can get by him up there on that top, because there is no grip once you get up into the bumps.
There is no grip whatsoever, so you got to be careful with that as we ride on board with Sabila as he gets a good run, trying to keep up with the pace of Dylan Banks as he now tucks it down against that painted white line. Dylan Banks in the Victory 1 Toyota trying to stay a little higher up.
Now down to the bottom of the track here in 3 and 4, trying to keep the clean air on the nose of the Mac Tools Camry. Just struggling to find a way to get past Banks. Banks doing such a great job being defensive on that top line. You can get to him in the corners, and once they hit that straightaway, the high line just pulls him. And if he goes up there to that outside line and tries to shout out what Banks is doing, he's just going to be blowing the right side tires off it, trying to work his way through the dirty air. And here comes Michael Conti.
Michael Conti, a man on a mission here in these closing stages as he is trying to make his way through, and I gotta say, it's gonna be close. He's got it all over the back bumper of Keegan Sabila as they get around Josh Schaffner, one of the lap down cars. Sabilo holds on for the time being against Michael Conti. 13 laps to go here as they work their way through, and Chris Hudson making a good run, sitting in 7th, trying to get around Joseph Kazi for the 6th spot here with a good top 10 finish.
Down the bottom of the track here through 1 and 2. Michael Conti up to the door of Keegan Sabilo down the back straightaway. Sabilo using the top line to carry him away, though. But not going to last long here as Conti sends it down to the bottom. Young Keegan learning a couple important lessons here from a long-standing pro here on the iRacing service. Not pro anymore, but you know what? In my heart, Conti is always a pro.
Champion. Yeah, he is retired. Let's just say.
Tell you what, a legendary track record from the cat out of that 38 machine. We're all getting a first-hand display of it here. But up at the front of the pack right now, it is still Tommy Gossett as we watch Michael Conti go toe-to-toe here with Dylan Banks. Down to the bottom of the track here through 3 and 4 for Michael Conti with a decent run down the front straight, but not enough as Banks fires it up off that top line with a lot of momentum.
Great run right here as they come through, as they try to negotiate the lap traffic of Anna Benefield, and as they come off of turn number 2. Oh, Sabilo hits the wall a little bit right there, but is able to gather it back up.
And here comes Chris Hudson trying to take over a spot from DeCiani. Won't work, though. DeCiani takes 7th spot away and hangs on to it as we look back up ahead here at Dylan Banks.
He's going to try to get both of them here as he's making short work of Sabilo and now tries to set his sights on Dylan Banks as they head down into turn 1 and 2. 9 laps to go. As he looks to the inside, gets a great run. He may have a shot as Joseph Kazi, Brandon Pascalacqua, along with Matt DeCiani and Chris Hudson battling for position.
This is the best we've seen Kazi run here for a couple weeks, too. He's had a lot of misfortune in the late laps of these things. He's putting together a good drive here with just 7 laps to go. On the pack right now, Tommy Gossett. I thought the tires were going to come back and bite him on the tail, but they're definitely not from the looks of it, as he works edging out a 4-second lead over Patrick Gitter.
He is doing what he needs to do right now, and he is continuing to hold on as Michael Conti gets around, almost clears Dylan Banks off turn 1 on turn 2, as he'll look to the inside in turn 3 and 4, and he will almost clear him. Not quite open yet, almost makes contact with him as they come off. A little bit of sideways contact as he gathers it back up, slots back behind Dylan Banks.
Down to the inside for Michael Conti on the back straightaway. Not able to get the momentum he needs, though. Now, bumper to bumper into turn 3. Conti dives down late into the corner, trying to find the momentum to pull him past the 48 machine of Banks, but Banks doing an incredible job of being defensive against the retired pro.
This is gonna get exciting right here.
Hey, dang, been exciting.
Oh, I know, but it's going to
get better.
It does. It is, as he sees Conti trying to clear Dylan Banks off turn 4, and he does, just barely, though. They cross the line. He gets the spot, but unfortunately, Banks just able to keep on holding strong and keeping the driver of Michael Conti at bay for a moment.
Bit of the fence for Banks.
That will give
heavy contact with the outside wall. That's going to finish it off. Michael Conti is going to take over the 3rd spot here in the closing laps as we take 5 to go.
Coming to 4 to go now as Tommy Gossett continues to hold on at 3.7 seconds ahead. Patrick Gitter still sits 2nd. He has about a comfortable 1-second advantage over Conti, Banks, Sabilo, and Kazi, who are trying to close in on this fight.
Keegan Sabilo down to the inside here through 3 and 4, trying to get past Dylan Banks. Not able to make it work, though. Banks firing back on the top line, but Sabilo just going to have to fall back in line, and the
Caution.
caution is out.
Josh Schaffner hard into the outside wall, and Tommy Gossett is furious.
Tell you what, that has been every race this week. You get down to that 5-lap window. No matter how long it feels like we've been going green, somebody finds a way to step on it. So we have Schaffner just breaks loose in the center of the corner. And huge contact there from Carr. Schaffner here as we go into 1 and 2. See, he's already pedaling it there. Carr snaps around on him. Once that wheel gets pointed to the right, there's nothing you can do. You're along for the ride at that point. Oh, we got one car staying out. Dylan Banks gonna stay out here with Tommy Gossett. Gossett stays out. Dylan Banks is out. DeCiani opts to stay out.
Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if there's a green-white checkered.
And no green-white checkered. Now they did not have the green-white checkered active, so
this might save Tommy Gossett and give a couple of drivers a great finish right here.
that's interesting. This is the first time I've seen one of these things finish under yellow and what feels like forever.
Yeah, it's been a
Across the
while.
stripe.
Tommy Gossett takes home the win.
Or you know. Tommy Gossett brings the Ryko Camry over the start-finish line here to burn it down. And his second win, I do believe, on the OB Builders Cup season this year. This one, certainly well-earned.
Very earned indeed. Definitely had the pace to make his way up through the field no matter where he was. Had a couple of close calls and was able to recover nicely to capture the flag here in the heart of America and Iowa.
There we go. There's the smoke.
There's a little bit of a smoke show.
I think the traction control might be acting up on the 07 machine. The Jeff Gordon 2003 joke right there. He might have gone over some heads. But either way, the unofficial results as they stand here. Tommy Gossett, your race winner over Dylan Banks, Matt DeCiani, Chris Vincent, and Brian Johnson are your top 5. 6 going to Randy Belk, followed by Sean Conklin, Paul Gallimore, Joseph Causey, and Patrick Gitter round out your top 10.
11th is Lou Christian, followed by Chris Hudson in 12th, Brandon Pascalacqua 13th, Michael Conti 14th, Jose Medina 15th, Keegan Sabilo in 16th, Adam Benefield 17th, Daniel Wiles 18th, Alexander Carr 19th, and Justin Levine rounds out your top 20.
Bringing it home, 21st position. It's going to be Russell Black, followed by Chad Kibbe, Chris Davis, Chris Crosby, Richard Kleiman, Greg Carr. Josh Schaffner in 26th over Greg Carr in 27th. Bringing home 28th is going to be Randy Mullins, followed by Joseph Gulata in 29th. 30th going to John Bender with Ralph Hutchison, Shane Klor, and Joshua Hyatt, rounding out the 33-car field from Iowa. With 231 laps stacked up on the board here. Get ready to pull some drivers up here for the post-race interviews. But before we do that, any final words here, Taylor?
I mean, it's been some incredible racing, I have to say, here tonight as we get the chance to talk to our race winners. But I have to say, incredible drive right there by the driver of that 07 Ryko Toyota.
Absolutely. You know, I thought when Tommy got the lead early, I thought it was going to be pretty quick cycle there. Figured he was going to blow through the tires really quick, but just nobody caught back up to him. Looks like he found something extra there in the closing laps. So definitely a well-earned win from that kid. Well, can't really call him a kid anymore now, can I?
Nope.
I'm currently trying to pull up third place finisher Matt DiCiani here. It's pretty difficult with how big this chat is. Well, he's sitting here with third place on the evening. Matt DiCiani. This is Sheldon Atkins up in the Grid Vision booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, I say it every week. Somewhere around, say, 60% through the race, I just, we get a glimmer of you. And I'm just like, Matt DiCiani's in this race. And when he's being quiet, you got to keep an eye on him. And once again, looks like that was the case. You're bringing home P3. Just kind of talk me through the strategy, the calls you made this evening.
Yeah, I wasn't a third place car. Just a little people not familiar with the old school rules about not getting green white checkers there. So yeah, kind of got gifted that, but yeah, kind of just this is the first race I ran this week, so just started in the back, just tried to learn the first half of the race, and yeah, I was okay. I wasn't great, but just kind of figuring out pace and what you can run on the tires so you don't blow the right rear off.
So, how close did you? What was the closest you came to killing one of those Goodyear Eagles tonight? Because I know when I ran the SOF race Monday night, I looked down on the first pit stop and we were like 15% on the right front and like maybe 5 on the right rear.
What was the longest run we had today? Like what, 67 laps? I think the lowest I got was, I don't know, probably like 24%, 22%, something in that range. So I had some tire life, but you sacrifice the short run speed, to have that tire longevity, and it's like, do you get the 80-90 laps where that saving means anything? And we really didn't tonight, so really kind of wasn't probably the right strat on doing that. But yeah, the right rears are flying off this thing if you're not careful.
So how do you feel about the new tire model here on the ovals? Because we've gotten a couple weeks where we've really gotten a feel for what the Gen 7 car is going to be going forward. We first got everything; it was right in the middle of what felt like the endless road course swing. So how you feeling about things? A couple weeks in, after we've gotten Indy and Dover under our belts, and now we're here at another highway racetrack.
I don't know. The last tire model wasn't great either. I don't think this is fantastic, but it's different. So it's just a learning curve. I don't know how much you could say about the tire here, just with the grip strip and all that new pavement. So I don't. Hopefully, if we get to another short track, I think we'll get a better gauge. But yeah, it's what we got, and we got to deal with it. So I can't really say it's good or bad, but yeah, just what we're working with.
Well, how are you feeling about the new Iowa 2 with the grip strips? Because for me, it's they definitely massacred our boy.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I hate this. This wasn't one of my favorite tracks before, but I liked it a lot better when it was really bumpy. Just had a lot of character, but yeah, now it's don't plan to run much more this week here. Just not a big fan.
Well, Matt, after basically by your own admission, winning the Iowa State Lottery, who all do you want to thank for this third place performance?
Yeah, thanks to Brandon, Josh, Randy, putting on this league. Thanks for you guys for calling the race. Shout out to Tommy and Dylan on their P1 and P2, and yeah, thanks to Pat as always. We put a lot of work in. We still got a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. So yeah, thanks guys.
Well, thanks for coming up and chatting with us, man.
Yep, take it.
And I'm going to hand this over to Taylor Burris with our second place finisher. And, well, one of the drivers that we definitely have to keep an eye on week in and week out, Dylan Banks.
Here we are with Dylan Banks. Dylan, I got to say, a great run for you as you were able to work your way up through the field to pull off an incredible finish here inside second place. Walk us through how well you were able to handle that victory one at Toyota.
Yeah, man, it was a very eventful night for sure. First race in OB, and it didn't disappoint, man. I had a blast tonight with all these guys. These are some really good guys in here, really good talent. I'm just humble and grateful for the P2. I'll take P2 any day of the week against a lot of these guys in here. tremendous. But yeah, it was a very eventful night. Started off just trying to save all I could, try to feel it out. And honestly, it really didn't work. It surprised me a little bit that the guys were able to run so fast and keep the tires on it, and not really have to pay a price for it. But it's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, the last little bit, push harder. I wanted that podium so bad. I was trying to fight Conti for everything I had right here. That was all I had. I laid it on the line. He's an incredible driver. He knows what he's doing, and I hope we put on a good show. That was a lot of fun. Utmost respect for him.
Safe to say we'll see you in future events here for the OB Builders Cup Series.
Oh, absolutely. It's a blast in this league. These guys it's great talent in this league for sure. Yeah, you'll be seeing more of me. Maybe not winning all the time because you got aliens in here. But it's grateful. I'm grateful, man. Grateful to be able to run in here with a bunch of good guys like this for sure.
Well, that is second place finisher Dylan Banks coming home with a podium finish here on his debut, as we're now joined by a driver who picked up his second win of the season. Tommy Gossett is with Sheldon Atkins.
Also, it's crazy that Dylan talks about aliens in here, because I remember him absolutely busting my ass at Indy last week, as we have now pulled the man, the myth, the Gossett. Tommy, dude, I thought you were toasting those tires that entire run. What did you do? Because that was incredible. I don't think we saw anybody pull a lead that big all day. And somehow you still had Goodyears to bring her around to the checkered flag if we'd have gone green to the end.
Oh, yeah. It was a learning experience all night. That first run when I got the lead, I was just planning on holding it. And I got spun there off 4. But throughout the race, while I was coming from the back to the front, 4 times, I figured out a trick or two and how to keep them on them.
Man, I tell you what, dude, you had the only thing I can compare it to is Kyle Larson's Coke 600 a few years ago, where the first half of the race, everything that could possibly go wrong somehow went wrong. And then by the end of it, he was, would have won it if not for Briscoe.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of what it felt like.
He made a lot of TV time for Ryko this week, that's for sure. But I mean, man, just walk me through the emotions right now, because this is win number 2, if I do believe, for the OB Builders Cup Series, or am I confusing an NIS with an OB Builders Cup win?
It is win number 2. First one was Atlanta. Felt good. This one was on a non-draft track. Any night you can come out and beat a Coke Series setup in a league race. It's a good feeling, and to do it in such a fashion and to run up front all night, and where personally I think I should have stayed all night. It's just a very gratifying feeling, and it just goes to a testament to all the hard work that Ken puts in our setups bi-weekly, that me and Sean and Dylan and everybody else over at Ryko can come out and do this.
Well, it's also definitely, I know it's a big feeling too, personally, when it comes down to a tire save track and you somehow put it all together and keep it together when it matters the most. I know that is a big boost in confidence. So are you going to be able to get your head through the door when you walk out of the house tomorrow, or are they going to install a garage for you?
If my I rating was still above a 6K, that door would definitely have to be a garage door. But since I'm below a 6K right now, I think I'll manage.
Man, that's good to hear. But either way, with the big win tonight, who all do you want to thank and shout out?
Obviously, first off, I got to thank God. Without him, nothing's possible. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair, turning a virtual car. I got to thank Ken for the wonderful setup. Obviously, I got to thank my mom, Gossett Bus Lines, that usually adorns my car. I just want to bring out a special JG paint scheme tonight. Got to thank Randy and everybody who puts on OB Builders for a great league. I can't remember if I thank you again for building a wonderful setup, but if I didn't, there's that again. Thank you all for the wonderful broadcast and everybody who helps make Gossett Bus Lines possible.
Well, Tommy, thanks for coming up here and talking to us, man, and trying to burn it down too much tonight, but congrats on the big win.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go get me a big glass of chocolate milk.
I had one right before the broadcast.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I unfortunately cut Tommy off there. Either way, Taylor, any final thoughts to take us home with here?
Great racing overall here at Iowa Speedway. It's always a pleasure to be at this track, and it's great to see that the NASCAR Cup Series does come race at this track because of the excitement, because of the tire wear, because of it here as they work their way through.
I'll tell you what, man, this has definitely been one of the more exciting races that we've had the opportunity to cover, especially since the update, because it didn't feel like everybody was as mired by the dirty air as what we've seen. And, you know me, I always love it when we come down to these tire wear tracks, because you kind of never know what's going to happen. But from the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvisionlive. Special thanks to Andrew Cardinal of Whiplash Sim Cams, providing the cams used on today's broadcast. As well, another congratulations to Tommy Gossett for the big win tonight here from Iowa. This has been Sheldon Atkins, and I've been joined in the booth by the ever so wonderful Taylor Burris and our fearless leader, Austin Derbyshire. And we will see you next time on the grid.